The Lululemon Murder is a chilling case of deception that took place in an upscale yoga boutique in Bethesda, Maryland, in 2011. On the morning of March 12, 2011, a manager arriving at the Lululemon Athletica store found a scene of total carnage. The store was trashed, and 2 employees were found in the back. 30-year-old Jana Murray was dead, and 28-year-old Brittany Norwood was alive, tied up, and bleeding. Brittany told police a terrifying story. She claims that after closing the night before, 2 masked men in black followed them inside. She said the men sexually assaulted them and brutally beat Jana to death while forcing Brittany to watch, eventually leaving her bound on the floor. The community was paralyzed with fear. Police launched a massive manhunt for the masked intruders. Forensic teams spent days scouring the store for DNA, footprints, and fingerprints that didn't belong to the employees. But the evidence started telling a very different story. Detectives noticed that only 2 sets of bloody footprints were in the store and both belonged to the victim's own shoes. There was no sign of forced entry, and no traces of DNA from any masked men. Furthermore, the store's surveillance showed no one entering or leaving at the times Brittany claimed. The most damning evidence involved a pair of size 14 Reebok sneakers found in the store, used to make the intruder footprints. Police found the exact same shoes in Brittany's belongings. They realized the men she described didn't exist. The footprints were staged to look like a break-in. The truth was far more mundane but tragic. On the night of the murder, Jana had caught Brittany trying to steal a pair of yoga pants from the store. Jana called a manager to report it, fearing she would lose her job and be exposed. Brittany snapped. The medical examiner revealed that Jana had suffered at least 331 distinct injuries. Brittany had used various tools found in the store: a hammer, a wrench, and a box cutter to torture Jana for over an hour. It was one of the most violent overkill crimes investigators had ever seen. To make her story believable, Brittany had spent the rest of the night cutting herself and tying her own limbs. She sat in the dark next to her co-worker's body for over 10 hours, waiting for the morning shift to arrive so she could play the victim. Just 6 days after the attack, police arrested Brittany Norwood. The survivor was charged with first-degree murder. The news shocked the town. The girl they had been praying for was actually a cold-blooded killer who had staged a theatrical crime scene. During the trial, prosecutors played audio from the shop next door. An Apple Store employee had heard the screaming and thudding through the wall, but didn't call the police, thinking it was just construction or a loud argument. The jury was moved by the mischance to save Jana. Brittany Norwood was found guilty of first-degree murder. The judge, calling her calculating and cold, sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole. She remains incarcerated today, a reminder that sometimes the most dangerous person is the one standing right next to you. The Bethesda Lululemon reopened months later with a memorial for Jana Murray. The case is now studied by forensic psychologists as a textbook example of staged crime scenes, where a perpetrator's attempt to look innocent actually provides the evidence needed to convict them. In the years since, it was discovered that Brittany had a history of petty theft and dishonesty at previous jobs and in college. The Lululemon incident wasn't her first time being caught. It was simply the first time she resorted to ultimate violence to cover her tracks. Jana Murray's family started a foundation in her honor to promote leadership and education. They remember her not as a victim of a yoga store murder, but as a vibrant, world-traveling scholar whose life was cut short by an unthinkable betrayal. While the how and who were solved, the why remains haunting. How could a dispute over a $100 pair of leggings escalate into a 3-hour-long torture session? Experts believe Brittany's fear of social failure triggered a deep-seated sociopathic response. The Lululemon Murder remains one of the most famous cases in Maryland history. It serves as a stark warning about the reliability of eyewitness testimony, especially when the witness is the one holding the weapon.